In an unexpected turn of events, leftist comedians Jimmy Kimmel and Silverman seemed to turn on some of their own liberals. To add insult to injury, they defended Joe Rogan. Here's Kimmel on Silverman podcast recently. Let's take a look.
You supported him, whatever. I don't buy into that. I don't believe the you
Same.
supported him.
Just like,
I think everybody has to have the door needs to stay open.
well, that's my whole thing with the left.
If you want to change your mind, that's so hard to do. If you want to admit you were wrong, that's so hard and so rare to do.
And brave.
You are welcome.
Silverman dialed in on the left. Let's watch.
The left, it's just, I find it ironic. I'm on the left. It was for, but like, I find in general, the party that is about inclusivity is incredibly elitist. Just say, join us. Yes, come, join us. Yes.
Kimmel at one point suggested using his Italian citizenship to escape from Trump. Let's take a look at that.
I do have Italian. I did get Italian citizenship.
You do?
I do.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I do have that. And what's going on is as bad as you thought it was going to be.
Way worse.
It's so much worse.
A fellow paisan. I guess I didn't quite know that. I could have guessed.
I like this conversation. I think that people should be brought to the table from all sides of the aisle. We got to a point of contention where if anybody spoke at Thanksgiving about anything different than the whole Thanksgiving dinner was ruined. And I think that was way too dramatic. We had to bring the temperature down and figure out, oh my gosh, the world didn't end. President Trump is president again and it's fine. But I think the problem that bothers me, like with Andrew Schultz on his podcast, like, I didn't vote for any of this. I'm so confused. That is so phony and just like a terrible stance to take because you understand what you voted for. Trump is pretty much doing exactly what he laid out he would do, and anything that he's not directly said he would do, like the things about immigration, specifically were outlined in Project 2025. And anybody who listened for 2 seconds could obviously see that these things, like when you're attacking DEI, or when you think about Russ Vought still being in a position of power, or John Radcliffe, all the people that created Project 2025 in positions of power throughout Trump's administration, this is exactly what would happen. So anybody confused about this is a little pathetic because we had so much information about what will possibly happen, and you should be thrilled that the exact agenda that the president was pretending, mind you shouldn't be taking that for real when he said, I have no idea what this is, that's ridiculous. So the president pretending like he didn't know what it was, if you would have listened to the things coming out of his mouth, plus even take a look at what people were saying about Project 2025, you would have this presidency. There would be no confusion for you. So even though you're welcome to join the table and have the conversation, I don't want it to start with, oh my God, I'm so blindsided, because that is just a failure to be serious
Project
at all.
25 is just standard conservative policy positions that Republicans have talked about doing since the 1980s,
and
with
Trump
a couple
is doing,
updates.
He's following through, attacking
Correct.
the Department of
I agree.
Education.
So it's not surprising.
Ending diversity, equity, and inclusion, ending PBS and NPR. These were laid out in Project 2025.
If anyone, you're right, if anyone is saying, I voted for Trump, I didn't know he was going to get rid of DEI, I regret my vote, I don't know what to say to you, you're a moron then. Now, no one is like that because ending DEI is popular and is something maybe not everyone wants to do, but everyone who voted for Trump wants to do. No one's having buyer's remorse over that.
Yeah, people are
maybe they're having buyer's remorse.
The way he's handling immigration, the way he's going about it is not.
Maybe some people are having buyer's remorse over that. I don't know. It's not DEI. Look.
Freezing federal assistance. Another thing people have issued. People have lost their job by them cutting all these federal positions and just firing people frivolously. They had a problem with DOJ doing what it does, but this was all laid out in Project 2025.
Problems with that.
I interviewed a Republican that specifically got fired from a federal agency and was like, yo, what did I do? I got stellar reviews from my job, straight A's across the board.
Right.
And DOJ said
bye-bye.
Too many
government employees, and we got to shrink the federal workforce.
Okay, but don't start with your stellar worker. Okay, would you like if that happens to you? You're a top performer, and then they're like, oh, Trump said you got to go because numbers don't.
If I was not needed, then I got to go. I mean, dude, it's got to be run like a business. It's got to be profitable, or it's got to be profit is the wrong word to use for it because it's government. It's got to be financially sound. We can't just have a gazillion people that all get nice, reviews. That's good for them, but we're massively in debt, and part of that is how big our federal workforce is. So I don't think doing that is unpopular. It might be true that some of the way the deportations are being handled go beyond the reasonable bound of what people wanted. People want criminals and terrorists and gang members deported. I don't think most people necessarily just want every immigrant sent home. And there is there's debate even within the administration about what ICE should prioritized. Tom Homan and Stephen Miller had a difference of opinion on it. So some of these things are still being debated internally. So it's not like, well, you voted for this, though. How can you be outraged about it? When there's disagreement in MAGA about what should be done. There's some disagreement on tariffs. Should they be designed to bring about more favorable trade relations and then got rid of, or should they be permanently in place so that we can build everything in America? That's a major ideological difference between your Peter Navarro wing and your Elon Musk wing. And so some of these are just, Republicans actually disagree on some things. The Republican tent is vast. There's disagreement. Maybe Democrats are just unfamiliar with that.
Well, they can be open-minded and have conversation also with Democrats that will say, hey, okay, here's some places that we told you was going to happen if we did X, Y, and Z. And so don't be confused why the economy is still trash because, hey, well, we're not doing anything to fix it and making that the priority like was promised.
Is the economy trash?
I mean, most people
Those are
feel
strong
it's very,
words.
I mean, the poll that I showed you, the Morning Consult poll said 61%, I believe, 6 out of 10 Americans feel like their rent is too high, they're uncomfortable with these numbers, and they're blaming President Trump. So these are probably the same disgruntled voters that are like, I didn't vote for this, right? Because you said you were going to do this, fix the economy. So these are things that he's trying to maybe with these tariffs.
Been 6 months.
But people don't, they don't accept what he's trying to do.
Trust the process.
No, the
Lindsey.
process is
Trust the process.
You know, with Biden, there was no trust the process. It's like everything he's doing wrong from the day one he stepped in, and since President Trump didn't win the election against Biden. But as soon as he got in office, now it's like, give me a minute, give me 2 years. I'm spending $200 million on this ballroom. I'll fix everything.
Well, Biden made some lofty promises coming into office to a return to normalcy. And he had every advantage as he was starting. The vaccine had just become, was just like announced, was going to become widely available within weeks.
Did we not return to a sense of normalcy?
More people died of COVID the first year of Biden's presidency than the final year of Trump's. It was still bad for a while. It was just, there was nothing that could be done. It was just going to burn itself through. And all of that, screaming at Trump for mishandling the pandemic, well, it couldn't have been handled very differently regardless of who was in charge because everyone was just going to get COVID eventually. And that was what was going to happen, which is what the let it rip people said from the start, and they were correct.
But the answer can't be when people criticize, like even with Joe Rogan, he's criticizing President Trump about the Epstein files, and you have been like, oh, let's stop talking about this dude. Can't believe you jumped on that bandwagon. But every time internally,
searches for
people
Epstein were down significantly.
I don't care. Every time people jump into the conversation, then it's like, okay, well, let's just like redirect or sweep it under the rug. And that's just acceptable from President Trump. It shouldn't be acceptable. And I'm glad that Republican people are calling him, putting his feet to the fire and saying, this is not what I voted for. But I also think they should review all things that he stood on and say, is this actually what I voted for? Maybe if I'd done a little bit more research, this is exactly what I voted for. Besides the Epstein thing, which was very vocally and directly, he said he was going to do one thing, and this whole administration did the opposite. Not Trump, but his team.
Yeah, Trump is doing exactly what he said about the Epstein files,
Yes,
and he was right from the beginning.
His team
Trump is
said that.
100%
And so now there's a
right
bunch
about
of shady
it.
dealings, and I can't believe the MAGA base is like, oh, no worries, this is fine. Your boy Joe Rogan, who arguably swayed the entire election, correct? I mean,
Trump is
with young
Trump
people,
is a good shepherd.
So people who still
and
listen
the
to him
flock-
still want answers.
And he's leading the flock toward truth.
A good shepherd.
And the flock is listening, and he's educating.
You're on the wrong.
We're learning.
You're on the wrong side of
We're
history
learning
here,
from Trump.
Robby. People want you to stand firm in your conviction that we need more information.
When
okay?
he's right, he's right. I concede that he's probably right about this. Well, I mean, we can get more. He said we can get more information if there's more to be gotten. We don't have to take, Pam Bondi's word for it. I'm not saying that. He's
Take
just
Ghislaine
saying,
Maxwell's word for it.
No, we definitely should. No, we should not
Who's
take
now
Ghislaine.
friends with President Trump because she wants a pardon. Let's definitely take her word for it.
Absolutely not. I'm affirmatively saying we should not take her word for it. No one should take her word for it. That would be a mistake.
So let's release the documents that they have access to. The Treasury Department documents, follow the money. Let's start doing those
now
things.
you're an Epstein
I'm
cruiser.
deep
Release the
in
documents.
this. Release the
thousands
documents.
and thousands and thousands of pages of documents have already been released.
And Trump's name has been redacted, and he won't release those. So
We
let's
know.
just-
We know.
Okay, we want more
We
information.
know all the stuff.
We're gonna. I'm sorry, Robby. It's not going away. People have gotten subpoenaed. This is gonna go through August at the very minimum. So I'm sorry. You just got to get on board.
It will
We're
go
gonna
away.
talk about it a lot more. We might spend as many hours as that man did on ChatGPT researching how to be a brilliant scientist.
God.
In the last story we talked about, that's how much we're gonna talk about Epstein. So you might as well just come back over, change your perspective. I'm deeply interested in this story, and I need to come up with a resolution. I need to figure out what happened here, and so does America. So I don't even know how this subject turned into this, but all roads lead to Epstein always. If you want to talk about Trump, you got to talk about Epstein.
All right, then. Buckle up, buckaroos. We've got a lot more to talk about on Rising. Stay with us.